There was me. That is George of George Reviews. And I was sitting on the couch in my living room, pondering of what to do with the evening. A good film to whet my cinematic appetite was sounding very appeasing. But what was I to watch? Something disturbing to sharpen me up for a bit of the old ultra-violence. A real horror show. Only one film came to mind. A Clockwork Orange, which was just released on 4K Blu-Ray. A new way to experience one of my favorite films of all time, to suck me in the most sickly, disturbing, and delightfully horrifying film for my little brown eyes as I watch A Clockwork Orange on 4K. Alright, my little droogies, we got A Clockwork Orange on 4K Blu-ray. Very nice, sleek packaging. Let's talk about it. 50 years old, this film still holds the fuck up, at least in my opinion. It's a film that needs no introduction. When you say A Clockwork Orange, people shrivel in fear. And I think that's a good thing. I think film can invoke a certain emotion, certain feeling within yourself, and The Clockwork Orange definitely does that in spades. The film's really a portrait of a man, a psychotic man, a very vicious and ruthless, I would say, scoundrel, who is very charming yet very demented and very intense, for lack of a better term. The film is about human choice. If you take away that human choice, your human character, your personality, do you cease to become human? Do you become something more controlled, more robotic? Hence the title, A Clockwork Orange. It was very provoking and controversial back in 1971 and remains so today. When you say Clockwork Orange, people are a little bit on edge. Every time I say A Clockwork Orange is one of my favorite films, people are taken aback. They don't know how to look at you. They find you kind of strange, and maybe rightfully so. This film, invokes a lot of fear and a lot of unease, as it should. It provokes you, and that's one of the greatest things Stanley Kubrick does with his films. I think Clockwork Orange definitely is at the top for me in terms of the way he provokes the audience, how he questions the audience, how far he will take his audience into their comfort zone, take them out of their comfort zone. He makes you really confront, your moral center, your moral core. Which do you agree with? Do you agree that a person like Alex DeLarge, do you feel that he needs to be under total and undeniable control? Or is he just the way he is because of humanity, of genetics? Is it better to have him under full, total control, to be basically turned to sickness when he wants to enact any kind of violent or sexual acts of freedom? Or is it better to let him be the way he is? This is kind of the moral duality of the film. It's definitely in more of a gray area, and the film really tackles this in such a really unique way. A bit on the nose at times in its commentary, though it doesn't really shove it down your throat. To me, it's really there for you to connect to the material, to question that yourself. Which is better, to be a free psychopath or be a controlled sort of robotic bootlicker to authority? It is a very interesting duality that the film presents. It explores it very well. It tackles the darkness of its subject very well in a very charming but disturbing fashion. I think that's what A Clockwork Orange excels at in spades to me. I just absolutely love this film. I love everything about it ever since I first saw it when I was the wee age of 16. It has stayed with me throughout the years, through the decades. I've seen all of Stanley Kubrick's other films, and I love his work. He has one of the most incredible, it's just like, you can't even, it's not even worth mentioning because everyone knows he is the man, and I guess that underrates him.
Everybody pretty much acknowledges he's the man, and I still feel that underrates him.
You can't really talk up Stanley Kubrick too much or too little because he is Stanley Kubrick. The second you utter his name, he is just phenomenal in every single sense of the word. When you talk about filmmaking and filmmakers, Stanley Kubrick is at the very top. Whether he's your favorite filmmaker or not, whether you agree with his certain ways of directing or not, or the way he traumatizes some of his actors.
Oh, come on. What do you mean roll video? We're killing ourselves out here, and you're going to be ready.
I am too. I'm standing
Should we
right
play
by
mood
the
music?
door. No, I can't
Yeah, but when you
hear.
came in like this, you said, just
We're sitting there because they say, wait a minute,
okay.
and then...
But he is just amazing in what he does. And growing up, you know, I heard Spielberg and Lucas and Coppola and Scorsese, and they're all great filmmakers, but Stanley Kubrick was definitely an enigma to them in terms of the types of films he would make. He was in his own category. He was redefining the way we look at cinema. You know, he was reshaping it all to fit more into the box that is cinematic, that is filmmaking, that is arts. And then Clockwork Orange definitely excels in a way that's very artful. This is just a truly remarkable work of arts. Still a lot of backlash from audiences to A Clockwork Orange, even back in the day, where things got really out of control to the point where there were copycat kind of crimes being influenced by the film. And whatever your stance on that, I personally believe that you can't blame a work of art for inciting violence or any destructive action. You know, it is to the individual's choice, which kind of goes back into the themes of the film. It's about individual choice, and that is a very important thing to have. You take that away, a man ceases to become a man, a human is stripped from their humanity, and it just becomes something not worth living for. And that's kind of the journey we go along with Alex that is so interesting. I mean, this film was banned in the UK back in the day. It was pulled from theaters. It was a very successful box office hit for Warner Brothers back in the day, and it's kind of weird to call this a mainstream film because yes, it does kind of follow a structure, but it just seems like it would have a more of a niche audience. You know, a lot of Kubrick's films feel very niche, but they're very mainstream at the same time. And that was kind of the level he was able to provoke reactions from the audience. Whether you loved his films or hated his films, you have to admit that he excelled at getting your attention. And 50 years on, A Clockwork Orange just excels and succeeds and goes over your expectations of what a film can be. Though I will say the popular opinion or zeitgeist or whatever kind of makes this film more brutal than it actually is. The film does have brutal moments and really kind of mixes your emotions and kind of takes you into comedic place, into dramatic places, into dark places, and into insanity. The film is just pure wild insanity when it comes down to it. Though there are other films like Irreversible that kind of will go farther in terms of similar subject matter. I really feel A Clockwork Orange is a very important film that people should see at least once in their lives. And you say, hey, I saw Clockwork Orange, I loved it, but ... I can never watch it again. I'm like that with Requiem for a Dream. You know, I love that film. I think it's a masterpiece, but I can never watch it again. It's just too heavy for me, and I understand that Clockwork Orange is too heavy for others. It's a very controversial piece of cinema. I can even admit that. I find Clockwork Orange to be a masterpiece, a 10 out of 10, a 5-star. I just think everything about it is so perfect and meticulously done in the filmmaking, in the technical sense, in the acting. Malcolm McDowell steals the show. He is charming. He is demented. It's disturbing. But you are just so much in awe of his performance that you can't really look away. As depraved and maniacal as some of the things that he's doing, you know, his crimes against humanity are atrocious. You know, he is an atrocious person. But you cannot look away. It's like a car crash, you know, a bloody, disastrous car wreck. You just cannot look away. And that's how charming Malcolm McDowell's performance is in A Clockwork Orange. I feel it's very understated because he really drives the whole film. He is in exactly every scene. He is the Clockwork Orange that we are watching, you know, a man being brainwashed and turned into something that is against his true nature. I just find that really fucking fascinating. So as you can see, I cannot recommend this film enough. It is glorious, it is beautiful, it is tragic, it is ugly, it is fierce, it is very in your face, it's very provoking, and I can't get enough of it. I tend to watch this a lot. And I was really excited about the announcement that this is going to be on 4K Blu-ray. Let's talk about the 4K Blu-ray in and of itself. This is really the type of video I usually plan on doing. I don't usually review just Blu-ray releases, but if it's a special film and it's a special release and they do a good upgrade or remaster, I definitely like to shill for it, for lack of a better word. We got the 4K Blu-ray. It comes with a cool slip case, you know, not like a grand packaging. And as far as the film, it is a remaster. It has color correction. It removes any scratch marks on the visual. Sound is remastered. The audio is more fuller. The colors are more drab, but still kind of spark out at you in a very interesting way. The whole thing is really worth the retail price, on Amazon or wherever you get your Blu-rays and DVDs and all that. I'd say 4K is still kind of big. I know a lot of people haven't made the jump to 4K. I recently did myself, and I love the picture quality of it. Looks great on my 4K TV. It sounds great. Everything about this release is great. As far as special features, it's kind of a recycled release at the same time. A lot of the special features are ones that you can find on the, I believe, the 40th anniversary Blu-ray that was released 10 years ago. So you're not really going to get any new documentaries or anything that you haven't seen, especially if you have elaborate Stanley Kubrick box sets. The special features are pretty much just recycled, which isn't a bad thing. I'm glad that they're able to attain the special features from other releases or other past releases of A Clockwork Orange. Still, those are just Blu-ray quality, so you're not getting the 4K treatment on those, unfortunately. Of course, they're just special features, so I don't really hold it against the release too much. I found this to be a really great quality 4K Blu-ray. What you're getting is a really great remaster of the film. It is in 4K, and it's one that deserves to be in 4K. I know a lot of films aren't making it from Blu-ray to 4K, which is unfortunate. And physical media is kind of going in the way of the dinosaurs, and that's a sad thing, that physical media is kind of dying. But at the same time, I'm so happy that we have this film on 4K. I think every Stanley Kubrick film should be on 4K. Hopefully we will get more 4K treatment. We've had a few, like The Shining, 2001, Full Metal Jacket, Dr. Strangelove. Those got the 4K treatment. Hopefully his other ones do as well, especially the ones on Criterion. Stanley Kubrick's just a master. I think his film should be able to upgrade in the quality once we go to 4K and 8K, 10K, or whatever the next big transfer of picture quality and sound quality is going to be. I highly recommend you pick up this 4K Blu-ray of A Clockwork Orange. The film speaks for itself. It is a masterpiece of cinema. One of my favorite films of all time. I can't say that enough. Definitely would like to go in deeper into A Clockwork Orange with an analyzed video, so kind of stay tuned for that. Other than that, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys pick up the 4K Blu-ray. If you don't have 4K, you should definitely consider getting a 4K Blu-ray player. They're region free. That's one kind of plus that's always great in my opinion. Make sure to like and subscribe if you'd be so kind. My name's George Ray. I want to appreciate you checking out this video. Please remember to stay calm, keep cool, keep chill, and embrace great cinema, real horror show. I'll see you on the next video. Until then, peace out.